Hi everyone, we are going to start a new portfolio in here. This is in my personal account with Wealthsimple Trade. If we scroll down in here below the portfolio section, it doesn't have any stocks yet or ETF inside it. I'm going to start this from scratch and I'm going to hold this for the long term. Also, I'm going to add $200 every month and I'm going to do a new video every month on what are we going to do with those $200. Ideally, I think it's better to put in a TFSA account that is tax-free savings account so that the profits are tax-free. But the thing is, I already have some stocks inside a TFSA account and I wanted to start from scratch, and so that is why I'm doing this on my personal account. And so my initial plan here is to buy S&P 500 ETF, and inside it were 500 stocks, so it's pretty diversified on its own, and to buy another half on a dividend stocks ETF. Inside it were a group of dividend stocks, and I want to buy dividend stocks that is in Canadian dollar to avoid the exchange rate fee. And so to start, click the search button on the upper right corner of the screen in here, and then search the name or symbol. And so I wanted to buy S&P 500 ETF. I just click in S&P 500. And so there are a lot of S&P 500 ETFs out there. What we wanted is to include all of the 500 stocks inside the S&P 500. As you can see on the second selection, S&P 500 Value ETF. So it only includes the value stocks inside the S&P 500. And so the first selection, a VOO. VOO copies the returns of the S&P 500. If the S&P 500 has gone up by 10%, VOO will also go up by 10%. At the same time, if S&P 500 has gone down by 10%, VOO will also go down by 10%, and so it copies the return of the S&P 500. On the past year, it has gone up 49.46%, and so it is very unusual for the S&P 500 to go up this much in a year. The main reason is that the market has crashed on March 2020 last year, and so far it has recovered a lot. And I'm doing this recording on April 2021. From April 2020 to April 2021, S&P 500 has gone up by 49%. And also, there is no assurance that it will go up in the future. In the last year, the market has crashed by like 35%. In 2008, it has also crashed by 50 to 60%. And so there are definitely risks with investing in the stock market. But the problem here with VOO is that it is in US dollars. Because it is in US dollars, if we do it in Wealthsimple Trade, it charges 1.5% for the exchange rate fee. Also on other platforms, they charge some kind of exchange rate fee for most platforms in Canada. And so to avoid the exchange rate fee, we are going to do in this example is to buy up an ETF in Canadian dollars that tracks the price of the S&P 500. As you can see on the right here of the VOO, NYSE, it means New York Stock Exchange. And so the stocks in New York Stock Exchange were mostly US dollars. If we scroll down here, what we wanted is on TSX. That means Toronto Stock Exchange, and most stocks in it were in Canadian dollars. So you can see here on HXS, if we click here, so you can see here it is in Canadian dollars, and that's what we wanted. If we buy this, there is no exchange rate fee, and on Wealthsimple Trade, there is no commission fee for stocks in Canadian dollars. If we click in the 1-year returns, it has gone up by 37%. And another one here that does almost the same thing is ZSP. If we click the 1-year return, it has gone up by 35%. Why is it lesser compared to the VOO that go up by like 49%? And the reason for that is because a ZSP is affected by the exchange rate between US and Canadian dollar. In the past year, the US dollar has become weaker compared to the Canadian dollar. This is the exchange rate between US and Canadian dollars. And then if I click the 1 year here, then as you can see here, over the past year, the US dollar has become weaker by around 9.4%. And that's why the S&P 500 ETF in Canadian dollars is affected. And because of that, the ZSP has returned less compared to the actual S&P 500 is because the US dollar has become weaker. But on the other hand, if in the future, the US dollar has become stronger compared to the Canadian dollar, a ZSP will outperform the S&P 500 to how much the US dollar has gained compared to the Canadian dollars. And so what we are going to do here in our portfolio is to eliminate the exchange rate factor that affects the ETF of what we invested in. And so what are we going to do here is to put in hedged. So you can see here, ZUE, it's here. It is S&P 500 hedged to Canadian dollar. If you click on the 1 year return, it has returned 46%. And so it is very close to the actual S&P 500, which is like 49% in the past year. It is actually off like 2 or 3%. And so that is the thing with this S&P 500 hedge to Canadian dollar. It doesn't track it like perfectly. But I think I'm good with that. And in this example, I'm going to choose a VSP. And in the past year, it has gone up by 47.71%. If you compare to the actual S&P 500, it is still off by like 1.5%. But I think we'll take that here. And so I'm going to put $500 in this ETF. I'm going to click buy in here, and then on which account I wanted on personal account. And then how many shares of VSP. Let's say if I put in 8, the estimated cost is $550. If I put in like 7, estimated cost is $484. I think I'm fine more with 7 shares. And so I'm going to use a limit buy in here on the top corner of the screen here. Going to do the limit buy. Some example on how limit buy works. Click continue here. And so a limit buy is basically what's the highest price per share you would pay for a VSP. In this example, I'm willing to pay slightly above the price. I'm going to pay $70.50. And so right now the market is actually closed. We have to wait until the next day. But I'm going to cut this video up, so there's that. $70.50 to make sure that we are going to buy it, but at the same time not overpaying by much. And so $70.50 is the highest price we are willing to pay. If we click continue here, I wanted to buy 7 shares. It is going to be around $500. You can see here, $493 estimated cost. We are going to know it by tomorrow whether how much is the actual cost. The market is closed right now. The market is open 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time on business days, meaning Mondays to Fridays except holidays. I am recording this video on a Monday, so tomorrow the market is going to be open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and it is going to be bought in tomorrow. And then if you click in continue in here, so you can see here the limit price that we specified is $70.50. If tomorrow the price of a VSP is more than $70.50, we are not going to buy it. But if tomorrow the price of a VSP is less than $70.50, it is going to be automatically bought tomorrow if we confirm this order. So I'm going to confirm this order in here, and then done. If we scroll down in here, we have one pending order, that is the S&P 500 ETF that is hedged to Canadian dollars. And so the next thing is I wanted to invest half in a dividend stocks ETF. So I'm going to click the search button in here and then search the name or symbol, dividend ETF. And so there are a lot of dividend ETFs out there, as you can see in here. And so before this video, I have chosen XEI. Going to type in XEI. And then I'm going to click in here. Here it is a high dividend index ETF. If we scroll down in here, it pays like 4.34% in dividends. The dividend yield specified here is takes into account the dividend paid in the past year, that is on 2020. The dividend yield could change for this year actually, and we are going to talk about it later. And so for more information for XCI, I'm going to go here, If you search in XEI on Google, the first selection will go in here, blackrock.com XEI. And so as you can see here, more information. If we click in the holdings, so you can see on the bottom here, holdings. And so inside XEI were dividend stocks. These are the stocks that is inside XEI, Toronto Dominion and Bridge Royal Bank. And these are only the top 10 stocks inside it. And so as we said earlier, the dividend of XEI could actually change because the dividend stocks inside it could raise or cut their dividends anytime they like. So Toronto Dominion, let us say if they raised their dividend in the future, it's going to affect the dividend of XEI. On the other hand, let us say a stock in here has cut their dividend, it's going to affect the dividend of XEI. And so inside XEI were a lot of dividend stocks inside it. If we scroll to the right in here, the weight, each of the stocks were approximately 5% of XEI. And so if I have invested $100 in XEI, around $5 will be invested to Toronto Dominion because it is the weight, and around $5 to Enbridge and etc. The weight is basically for every $100 invested in XEI, how much will be invested to each of these stocks. That is the weight. Like how much is these stocks going to affect the returns of the XEI. And so these are the top 10 stocks inside the XEI. If we click the exposure breakdowns, these are the sectors of the stocks inside the XEI. And as we saw earlier, like on the top 10 stocks, there is Toronto Dominion and Royal Bank. If I invested $100 in XEI, around $30 will be invested to financial sector. That is, for example, the big banks like the RBC and TD. And around $29 will be invested in energy sector. And then these are the sectors of the stocks inside the XEI. Another one here is the fees in here. They charge 0.22% every year. What that means is they automatically charge 22 cents for every $100 invested in XEI. I am going to invest $500 in it, and so the total fee in a year is going to be like $1.10 approximately. Those were the fee, and they are going to automatically deduct it on the price of XEI. And the last one that we are going to look at is the key facts, is the third one in here. So you can see on the number of holdings, on the fourth to the last, it has 74 stocks inside the XEI. And then the performance in here. In the past year, it has returned 45%. In the past 3 years, it has returned 8% per year, 5 years. And those were the recent returns. So if we go back in here, I'm going to buy this stock. And the yield, if we took in the 2020 dividend yield, it's at 4.34%. But for the 2021, it could be either lower or higher. It depends on the stocks inside the XEI. If they are going to raise or lower the dividends, it's going to affect the dividend of the XEI. Click buy in here, the bottom of the screen. And then if we click personal account, and then I wanted to invest $500, let us say 20. Estimated cost, it is $449. I think we can afford more. 23, it is over the 506 that we will estimated to have left after buying the S&P 500 ETF. So I think 22. We are going to buy 22 shares. If we click the top of the screen here, I wanted to buy a limit buy because the market is closed right now. It's going to be filled tomorrow. And so the highest price that I wanted to pay is slightly above the current price to make sure that it will be filled tomorrow. So I'm going to put in $23 in here. Click continue on the bottom of the screen. Then I wanted to buy 22 shares. That is around $506. Then click continue in here. And then the market is closed. It is open 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Mondays to Fridays. Then click continue. Then confirm order. Then if we scroll down in here, we have two pending orders, the one with the S&P 500 and the one with the dividend stocks. And I'm going to cut this video right now and I'm going to update tomorrow. It's going to be automatically bought tomorrow if it is below that limit price because we have put in these orders. The day has passed and I have cut this video. If we scroll down in here, I have bought VSP and XCI. If I click in the VSP in here and then scroll down, I have bought it at $69.28 each. Scroll down some more. Then the first one, activities. It is filled at 6:30 a.m. The market opens at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have bought it at $69.28. It is filled because it is below the $70.50, a limit price I entered yesterday. So right now, I own 7 shares at $69.28 each. With the XCI in, when I scroll down, I have bought it at $22.45 each, and scroll down some more. As you can see here in the activities section, this is the summary of the order. I have bought it at $22.45 each. It is filled at 6:30 a.m. It is filled because the price of XCI at market open 6:30 a.m. is below the $20 limit price that I entered. And then, what are the stocks inside the S&P 500? You can search up S&P 500 companies. And these are some of the stocks inside it. And for a full list, there is a Wikipedia page. And as you can see here, these are the 500 companies inside the S&P 500. The S&P 500, this is the VSP. This copies the returns of the S&P 500. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe for more investing content. And I'm going to add $200 every month. And presumably, buy more VSP and XCI, or probably buy other stocks.